Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Mindy Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef, and today I'm going to show you how to brown ground beef. Seems simple enough, right? So let's go ahead and get started. If this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, I hope you click the subscribe button while you're here, and also go to theflipflopchef.com and click the button at the top of the page. You'll have access to thousands of recipes in my recipe community, as well as a weekly giveaway. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I have let my ground beef sit out on the counter for just a little while just to take the chill off, because it will brown better when it is not straight out of the refrigerator. So if you can plan just a little bit for that, you'll be glad that you did. Now, the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna get our skillet hot. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in there, but let me show you which skillet I'm using. This is our Brilliance skillet, and I believe it is 5 quarts. Let's see if it's on the bottom. Yeah, 5 quart. It helps that I write these on the bottom for us. So this is the 5 quart skillet. I think it's called a saucepan, and has a handle on both sides. So you have a handle in the back and a handle on the front, and then of course it comes with the glass lid. I don't need the glass lid today, so I'm gonna set it aside, and we're gonna start off by putting just a little bit of oil in our pan. So I'm gonna use Pampered Chef's oil and vinegar bottle to measure out about a tablespoon of oil. Now I've got my oil in the bottom, then there are these buttons on the side, one on each side of this bottle, and there's a straw that goes from this little reservoir all the way down into the oil. So when I press and squeeze this, what happens is it sucks that oil right up into this reservoir. So I'll show you again. You press and squeeze, and it pulls it out, and you can measure right here in this little reservoir on the top. And so it's really, really cool to be able to use that feature. I actually have another bottle in my cabinet that I have for vanilla extract, because I use vanilla quite often, and instead of getting out a measuring spoon every time, I can just measure it really easily in my oil and vinegar bottle. So we're gonna pour this oil, drizzle that over the top, and then what I'll do is I'll turn my pan on. I'm gonna put this on high. I am using an induction cooktop, and that's also the kind of cooktop that I use in my kitchen, but it's easier to cook over here with you guys than it is to cook over there. But what I like to point out is when you are using induction, it gets hotter way faster, which is a great thing. You can also get that if you're cooking on a gas stove. But you're gonna cook much faster when you use induction as well. And so I was totally against having an induction cooktop, but once we bought this house and I used it for a little while, and I had a couple of people tell me you'll really regret it if you get rid of it, I did keep it, and I'm so glad, because I really, really love using an induction cooktop. Whenever I have to go to a non-induction cooktop, I think cooking takes way, way too long. And so this is already nice and hot. I'm gonna just open up our package of beef here, and I'm gonna toss this in. And then I'm gonna take my mix and chop. Now, this mix and chop is pretty cool. I know a lot of you guys watching have one of these and already love it. And I'm gonna show you a little tip today that maybe you don't know about. I'm gonna take our kitchen spritzer. I'm gonna pump some pressure into the bottle. This kitchen spritzer is a product that actually helps you eliminate preservatives in your cooking sprays. And so by using this kitchen spritzer, you're actually going to be able to put just oil in here, and that's literally the only ingredient that you need. When it starts feeling really tight and hard to pump, then you know that it's really, really nice and pressurized. It won't spray if you don't pressurize it first. I'm gonna spritz some oil on my mix and chop, and the reason I'm doing that is so that the meat doesn't stick to the mix and chop. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of break this off apart in the cookware, and I'm gonna leave it undisturbed for just a little bit. And then we'll actually start browning it, okay? All right, so I'm gonna turn this back up. I turned the heat down a little bit because it was getting hotter faster than I was talking. So when you're done with your kitchen spritzer, you do wanna burp the bottle, okay? So just like a baby, you need to burp your bottle. So just release that pressure and then tighten your lid when all the pressure has been released. The reason you wanna do that is so that it doesn't force oil out of that spray and cause your pump to get clogged. So if you take care of your kitchen spritzer, it's gonna last for years and years and years. And every time that you need to refill it, just go ahead and clean the bottle, and the instructions for cleaning this are on my website. You can shop with me anytime. And the use and care for all of our products is right there. When you go to my website, you can look up the product that you're gonna be cooking with, and there's a little button at the bottom that says use and care. Has all the details that you need for cleaning, how to use it. Sometimes they even include some recipes. So I'm just gonna let this sit kind of undisturbed. And while I talk about, or while this is cooking, I'm going to talk about our mix and chop spatula. So the mix and chop spatula, it does a very similar job. So you're going to hold this one right up, and there's a little thumb rest here, and on this one there's a thumb rest. And so the benefit of that is so that it kind of gives you that control, so that while you're crumbling this meat, that you have that place for your thumb on the top, and then you're holding this right. The benefit of this is that you can then scoop up your meat, and some of it's just still, it's sliding off. You can scoop it up with, I can't get it on there because it's still too greasy right now, but you can scoop it up after it's cooked a little bit more, and then it will drain through these holes on the side. I will tell you, of these two products, the mix and chop, which is in my pan now, is my preference. So I tend to like, that's just my go-to. All right, so let me just let this sit for just a little bit more, and I want to talk to you about our Brilliance cookware. So Pampered Chef has several different lines of cookware, and I love them all. However, because I have an induction cooktop, there are only some cookware pieces that are going to work on my cooktop. So it has to be magnetic. So if we were to take a magnet, it has to be able to stick to the cookware. So if you have induction, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then sometimes people are really confused by what I have to say. Oops, I didn't know that fell in there. Let's see if I can crop that out there a little bit. I don't want to cook that, even though it's heat safe. But with induction, you're limited on some non-stick cookware pieces that you can use. So our signature cookware line that has a removable handle, unfortunately I can't use it on my cooktop. But Pampered Chef created our Brilliance cookware line with induction cooktops in mind. I bugged them enough, right? But you'll notice that it has this steel disc on the bottom, and so this is going to make it magnetic, and so I'm able to cook with this on my cooktop. This cookware has a 10-year warranty, and we have several different size like skillets here. We have saucepans, and then we have the larger skillet saucepan. It has the handles on both sides. I'm going to grab a couple of ice cubes, because what I want to show you guys real quickly is how well this conducts heat. Now, if you were here in my kitchen, I would have you feel this pan, and you could tell me that, oh no, it's not hot at all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one ice cube in this bowl. I'm going to put 2 ice cubes in this glass bowl so that we can compare the difference in how much one of them melts versus the other. And this pan will actually cool down very, very quickly because of its even heat distribution. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's already melting. You can see that? Already melting. I'm going to go ahead and give this a little twist. So I got grease on my mix and chop. So you're mixing and chopping. So chop and mix at the same time. That's why we call this a mix and chop. So you're just going to brown this until there's no more pink. And you see, since I've sprayed this with oil, there's very little beef stuck to my mix and chop. All right, so we'll stick that on there properly this time. Now, this ice, you guys, it's pretty cool. So if you've ever forgotten to defrost something and you need to cook it soon, you can actually take it out and set it in room temperature in one of these pieces of cookware. Now, can you guys see? Look at this. It's literally like swimming in this water. Now, this ice, we have just a couple, I can't even give you a drop out of this bowl because it hasn't melted very much. It's not going to have the same reaction in a glass bowl as it will in the cookware. So this is also great for defrosting foods faster than just sitting on the counter or in the refrigerator. So this pan, all the way up to the rim, is cold. And the reason I use this as an example is because I don't want to touch the rim of this pan because I know it's hot. And this, even though the food is only touching the bottom of this pan, it distributes the heat evenly, and so the edges of this pan are also hot. Now, I do like to mention that these handles are stainless, and so they are going to get hot if you leave them on the stovetop a long time. We do have this really cool product called the helper handle, and you can stick that on the end of your cookware, and that way you'll make sure you don't burn your hands. Now, on this long handle, the only part of the handle that's typically going to get hot are those first couple of inches. The rest of the handle is not going to be hot at all. Of course, you can use these in the oven. So if you wanted to start something like maybe make a pineapple upside down cake in the skillet and finish it in the oven, it is amazing. That handle will get hot. So you have to make sure that you're careful. So I'll show you another trick. When I do use this in the oven, and it's time for me to take it out. I use my helper handle on one side, and then I take an oven mitt and I slide the oven mitt on top of this handle, and that way I'm able to take this in and out of my oven relatively quickly and easily and not worry about burning myself. So our beef is almost done, so I'm just gonna mix this a little bit more, chop it a little bit more, let that finish. You don't want any pink when you're cooking with ground beef like this. Now look at this. I've melted this ice cube in this pan just sitting here right on the counter. And look, this ice, look, we got like 2 or 3 drops, right? So there's a really, really big difference. And so that's why I like to show you guys this. I'm gonna pour this out because I'll swash it on myself here in a minute. That's the 8-inch saute pan. We dry this. We're gonna use this to drain our ground beef here in just a few minutes. So we're gonna use our stainless steel mesh colander. I'm just gonna put that right in there so that it's ready. I do wanna show you one more piece of our Brilliance cookware. And it is, we have 2 sizes of these saucepans. So these are super cool. I'm actually gonna zoom in because you have to see this up close. So this one is 2 quarts. See, I love that they put it on the bottom so I know what size I'm working with. This is 2 quarts, and you'll see that it has flared rims, so it makes it easy to pour out of here, but the lid is magic, you guys. Look at this. So there are these draining holes on both sides, so you can decide if you need like the larger holes or the smaller holes. You would use the smaller holes if you were draining something that might actually come through the larger hole. Now, you can use, you can do a couple of things with this when this is hot. So you have to hold the lid on, and so for my bigger pan, what I like to do is I take my towel like this, and then I have it where I can hold the handle and the lid at the same time and drain over the sink. So you could do that, or you can take your oven mitt, I had to think of what it was called, and drain like this. So a couple of different ways. Again, most of this handle is not going to get hot. You might have a little bit of space there where it gets hot, and you could use another oven mitt if you needed to. All right, our beef is almost done. So let me set this aside. And I always like to mention when we're talking about cookware, if you need new cookware in your kitchen, then Pampered Chef has an amazing host program. So if you're interested in hosting your own party, I would love the opportunity to help you. If you're local to where I live, then certainly can help you. Right now I'm in Sarasota, Florida, and I can help you online, no matter where you live, anywhere in the world, if you are on a military base or anywhere in the United States. So I just can't sell to you if you are not in the United States or have a U.S. address, U.S. military address. So sorry if the way that I said that was confusing at first. All right, so this is done. I'm gonna press that off button, and look, we just have a tiny, tiny bit of that ground beef that's gonna need to be rinsed off there. So that's a really, really cool tip. I'm gonna just pour this into my bowl here. There we go. And this is how I separate the fat from my ground beef. So you can just shake that off a little bit. And the cool thing is this actually has a thick footprint on the bottom of this, so that if you're putting this in the sink to drain something, then you don't have to worry about the food and bacteria in your sink getting into your food because it elevates it up off of the bottom of the sink. Now, I just cooked this totally plain, but you could use, or excuse me, you could add any seasonings that you like. If you wanted to make tacos, you could add a Southwest seasoning, you could add our taco seasoning or carnitas. We can also add onions, peppers. Get really creative with this, but I just kept it totally plain. I'm not sure what I'll use this for yet, but if you want to add seasonings after you've cooked it, the really quick and easy way to do that is, especially if it's refrigerated, take it out of the refrigerator, put it in your skillet, and add about 2 tablespoons of water and whatever seasoning that you like. And that water will actually help coat your ground beef. So if you wanted to brown a bunch of ground beef at one time, separate it into portions, but not be totally committed to a specific recipe. You can season it after you've cooked it. So I hope that this helps you guys. Make sure that you reach out to me if you need any cookware. I can certainly sell it to you full price, or we can host a party. I can help you get it for free or half price. And then if you're interested in the Mix and Chop or the Mix and Chop spatula, feel free to reach out to me. And as a consultant with the Pampered Chef, I do earn commission on the products I sell to you. I would love the opportunity to earn your business. I'll take great care of you. And like I mentioned at the beginning, don't forget to go to theflipflopchef.com, click the button at the top of the page. You'll have access to thousands of recipes, a weekly giveaway, and hit subscribe while you're here too. That's all I have for you today, but I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.